Hello. The first question talks about if the motivations should differ from mentally ill patients to non-mentally ill patients. I believe that at the end of the day, every case should be taken uniquely and respectfully to its own account and um, be able to help them out in their own individual way. I think it shouldn't necessarily differ. However, excuse me, if there is a patient that is struggling with a mental illness, I believe that they should be treated with the same respect and with special attention to get the adequate and accurate and efficient care that they need. The second question, it talks about if it's appropriate or legal. I think that when it comes to individuals who struggle with mental illness, like I said, they should be treated with respect and um, understand that they are struggling with something bigger that could possibly be not under their control at the moment. So to treat everyone the same can get a little tricky for those who are a little bit more sensitive and susceptible to um, erratic behavior. I think simply throwing individuals into segregations or solitary confinement does not help the individual with understanding their emotions and being able to um, think and um, be okay with where they're at right now. Based on the video, why do you think that mentally ill have a much higher level of recidivism? I think because of the fact that these are individuals who struggle with mental illness on a daily basis, and when it goes untreated, it can make things worse and make the daily life worse. And so when you're not getting the adequate medication or the adequate treatment, your mentally disability may progress and get worse, and so which would cause um, one to sort of uh, what's the word, relapse into their addictions or old habits and potentially commit and recommit crimes. So I think that's why it's important to put special attention onto these individuals. Number 4, the video showcases the question presented that speaks differently. What I think one thing that the video showed about the Ohio prisons is how, despite having a large population incarcerated, they have improved a lot in how they run their facilities and how they approach mental illness in their facilities. I feel as though that they think it's important to find new interventions and simply understand that the old tactics are not working. And so when the video talked about how how the prisons in Ohio, how that particular facility had a mental health therapist or a nurse on the building, and most of their inmates were able to get their medication that they need on a daily basis. There are a lot of correctional facilities in the United States that don't have that, or have little to no access to mental health care or prescription care. So I think it was very important for Ohio to understand that and be some sort of a blueprint for how to navigate through the changes of mass incarceration. In your opinion, how can America address the growing issue of mentally people start attending prisons? I think for the biggest part, I think about is education and focusing more on high schools and grade schools and educational settings to kind of under teach people how mental illness is a real thing, and it's important to address it and to talk about it, because ultimately if we aren't taking care of ourselves mentally, that can result into negligence of our own health and can cause us to fall into a spiral of bad habits and behavior. I think America needs to understand that there is an issue here and focus more on trying to heal rather than to punish. I think there is a lot of ideology on punishment and force, and while that stuff has probably worked for some folks, it does not help anyone at the end of the day become a better person in their life. So I think there is a lot of things that can affect mentally ill people in the prison system. I think stigma is a huge thing in understanding mental illness and getting the help that one needs. I think when it comes to social policy and politics, I think having the policy changes on how prisons are being navigated can help address issues that are going on within these facilities. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a good night.